This is We Are Trying, the Playful Parenting Podcast. Welcome to We Are Trying, the Playful Parenting Podcast. I'm Dan, and with me is Miss Amy Dunton, and we are here to wade through the trials and tribulations and triumphs that come with the ever-changing life that is parenting. Thank you for joining us on our very first episode. This is pretty exciting. When Amy and I first came up with this idea to have a podcast about this, actually I approached her and I was like, "Hey, Amy, let's do this. We're parents and we like to talk." And that was about as far as I
absolutely not.
Yeah,
no way, not happening.
Really, really great start to what happened next. But no, I mean, we kind of sat and we talked about it for a bit, and the whole point of this, as I briefly mentioned, the trials, tribulations, and triumphs. But really, it's a lot of parents talk. Everybody looks for help in one way or another. My kids are slightly younger than Amy's, and my wife and I have many a times called Amy in absolute panic. Be like, "Our children are turning into monsters," and she's like, "No, you're fine. You're good. You're good." But it's the idea that looking out there, trying to get that, whether that's help or somebody to listen to or somebody to hear, that you're still, everybody's going through similar things. It's always nice to have a friendly voice, friendly ears, and hopefully that's what we can provide.
Oh yeah, and spoiler alert, the second guessing never stops. That just carries right on through. So that's not going anywhere.
If you were at all concerned, I know I'm going to miss that in my life. I was like, gosh, I really hope I never stop second guessing every single decision I make as a parent.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the best part.
So Amy, when I came to you and asked you about this, like, what were your original thoughts on this?
Honestly, I was just excited. Obviously, kids give never-ending material when it comes to life stories, whether they're positive or terrifying or somewhere in between. And I was just kind of pumped to get our two perspectives kind of on the line. Bring it together. We've had dozens of conversations in the past, but to put it in this, kind of element was kind of exciting. For
yeah,
sure.
And I mean, it's kind of shocking. You hear our voices. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, you'll see our faces. You wouldn't think, oh my gosh, these two are two different people. It's very shocking. We sound the same. We look the same. Ironically,
Twins,
even though my daughter has called me mommy on multiple occasions, I'm not in fact a mommy. So being able to have many different perspectives, I think is really a cool thing to have. I mean, Amy, you want to just talk about your kids, how old they are, and really a little bit about yourself, so that the listeners can I don't know. I was like, so they can judge you. No, we're all here on the same footing. No, but
no. Let's definitely get the judgment underway. I think the sooner we start that, the better. All right. So I am single mom. Judgment number one. Just shout them out if you want to. I have got two boys, 20 and 15. So we have gone through many of the little kid stages, moving into adulthood. So I'm excited to kind of offer those perspectives. As for myself, I'm currently working as a teacher for high school students, teaching them about careers and jobs. And then as a secondary job, I'm a behavior health professional. That's what I'm kind of doing these days.
Yeah, so Amy brings a lot of validation to just my chuckles and what I presume to be wit, and because I'm slightly on a different spectrum of that. I got two little youngsters. My son, who's the oldest, is 5, and my daughter is just about to turn 4. She will turn 4 the Thursday after this podcast is released. So that's really crazy. So I'm still well into the youngin years with that. I keep thinking, I was like, oh man, they're doing really well. I think we're out of tantrums. And then I start laughing again, because then we spend an entire day of like, hey, you know what's cool? Let's go to the zoo. You guys love the zoo. Yeah, we love the zoo. Get to the zoo. Boom, face on the ground, just crying. I'm like, awesome.
Yeah, well, that's how you want to start. You want to start with that at the zoo. I mean, you get it over with, you know. Do they have a term for the 4s? Is it like frantic 4s? I know there's the terrible 2s, but I haven't heard of the 4s. You'll have to make one up.
I mean, I'm sure they have one, but as far as what I can say and what I can't say, that may be slightly inappropriate.
Yep. Fair enough.
But I can think of a very fantastic alliterative something to go with the 4s.
You'll have to keep us posted.
It's really good. No, but I mean, it's so interesting because as you see them evolve, and obviously you've seen the gamut with your career and everything, not only your kids, but working with others as well, just seeing what I find to be so unique. And I always thought this was a little odd about myself. With my background, I've always been into, film and writing and character studies. And when I had kid, I'm the one that's looking at, I'm like, oh, this is an awesome character study, because kids they're so unique. And my wife is very, very good on like, okay, hey, everything needs to be even. Everything needs to be fair. We're going to treat them the same way. It's really difficult for kids to understand, especially my son who's 5, when we treat him a different way than my youngest daughter. It's not that we're treating him differently. We're treating each of them as the age that they are at. So wherever he was when he was her age, we try and keep it similar and just keep evolving that, which is always a fun explanation that we have to explain every single time he gets upset for how we're treating them differently. But it's a fascinating thing, because even though we're treating them as similarly and as fairly as possible, there's such a drastic difference in personalities.
Of course. Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. You have not only different circumstances when the ages change, but the personalities are possibly polar opposites. So it's not even plausible to treat it the same way. You can't, it's like, well, this is what we did, with Leo. We can't do that, It's just like, it doesn't work. We tried the same thing, It was just like, for my situation, Jackson, he's my oldest. I will say overall things were relatively smooth sailing with him. And then when our second one came along, different story, just entirely in every possible way. And we had to relearn. It was just like going right back to square one, like we had not even had kids.
Good. Yeah, I mean, you're like, oh, this is going to be great. We'll have another one. No problem.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know what people are complaining about. You slept through the night like really early on. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So all that being said,
changed.
I mean, just remember everything that we say is very much acquainted to our experiences, our kids, our personalities. What we say may not work for you. What we say, you may chuckle at and be like, these guys are crazy. That would never work. And that's fine. That is perfectly fine. Look, we're here to hopefully spread some kind of insight. I'm always interested to hear from other parents on, things that they've done, because there are things that might not work and, things that you might want to try. So we're here to help provide our information, our experiences, our stories, and hopefully you're able to take something out of it, even if that's, hey, I at least now have something to listen to when I'm in traffic.
Exactly. Just kill the time, we'll do our best to keep you entertained and maybe provide some informative stuff along the way.
So what do you think your kids are going to think? Because my kids aren't going to listen to this, obviously. I'm not going to be like, hey, we could listen to Disney music, or let's listen to Daddy talk more.
Yeah,
But
that's
see,
gonna be a
you
tough
on the other
sell.
spectrum,
Yeah,
you got kids that'll be like, hey, let me listen to this, see what my mom's talking about me.
yeah, exactly. That's what I think they're gonna say. I think they're gonna be like, what stories are you gonna tell? What are you gonna say? Are you gonna tell, and as soon as I, clear up, I'm telling them everything. Then I think that they'll, just accept and move on, decide whether or not they want to listen or not. But no, I think there's actually going to be more interest on their part in hearing my perspective at this point. And maybe find out some things that they didn't even know was the situation, or they don't remember that they, acted a certain way, behaved a certain way.
Now, Amy, are you telling me that what they perceive that we go through isn't the truth all the time? There are things that we go through that the kids don't know. Are you saying that this podcast not only is good for parents, but potentially for kids as well? There's a little plug in there.
I'm telling you, I'm glad you're already sitting down, because that's exactly what I'm telling you. Yeah, that's 100% the situation. Believe it or not, you and your kids are not always on the same page. Is that,
mind-boggling, Amy? Mind-boggling.
Right? I know. I'm sure we caused some people to swerve off the road there, but it is a fact, It's just, what are you gonna do?
Now, Amy, you know firsthand experience that we have gone specifically to you for advice. we have we had our kids when I guess younger than most kids our age, and so a lot of our friends have not had kids even to this point. A lot of them haven't, regardless of how much peer pressure we try and put on them to have kids with us. That sounded odd. You get the point. But so we were very lucky and fortunate not only to have our parents close, which we talked to them, but more importantly to have a what we call a parent friend, somebody that really gets it. And not only that, but we were lucky enough that there were some of the similar situations that we've been faced with that you also had to get faced with. So with that said, what we're being that we're trying to help these people give some insight, whether it works or not, what was your kind of go-to assistance when you were raising the boys?
Yeah, it's a great question, because my situation was actually very similar to yours. At the time that I had kids, I am the middle sibling. So I was the first of my siblings to have kids. And I was also the first of most of my close friends to have kids. So there wasn't an immediate so when you were experiencing this, what was that like? And they're like, yeah, we were going to just actually go out on the town. So I don't know about your morning sickness or how that's gonna, so that was tough. I would say my parents, I went to my parents for some, but I consulted a lot in books. I did a lot of reading. Yeah. Oh yeah. All the cliche, what to expect when you're expecting, all of that. Because I knew nothing about parenting or anything. It was very much okay, this is happening now and I'm going to try to prepare somehow. So yeah, so it was rough. Even, after Jackson was born, you're kind of in those beginning years, as you recall, right. Where everything that happens is unexpected.
No, everything that happens is caused by teething. That is right. That is what happens in the beginning stages.
Yeah. The good thing is that when you're going through that, the one thing you don't have to worry about is people will tell you what you're doing wrong. And they are happy to, strangers are happy to jump in at very odd moments and let you know exactly what you have to do. So, if all else fails, just rely on strangers' advice.
That seems extremely sound. I know that's definitely one thing we're gonna have an episode on is when it completely changed my perspective, as a kid growing up. So I'm born and raised in Orlando, lived at the theme parks as a kid. Basically, if you ever know anybody that lived in Orlando, they always know somebody that worked at the parks, get us in, Orlando things, because that's what we do. Anywho, there was always a screaming child every day at the park without fail that I would see. And when you're younger, you hear things like, oh yeah, when you were younger, you sided with the Little Mermaid when you saw that movie. But as you get older, like I see how I look at the parents' eyes when there's that kid that's screaming, and I just want to be like, you got this. I'm here for you. You got this. When I was younger, I was just like, man, what is going on over there? And then it happened to me. Then it happened to me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm over here like, yeah, no, scream it out. Scream it out. See who's coming for you. Yeah. You're fine. What happened? Yeah. I don't know. I gave him the correct fruit that he asked for, and he just blew up. It's fine.
Perspective's a powerful thing when you experience it firsthand. It's big. And I always, I love when parents do reach that point where they have that sympathetic, been there. Yeah. Hang on, you're just get through it. You can make it, because without that support, it's a rough road. No question.
It really is. I mean, it's the parental I don't want to call it family, it's the parental family, if you will, is it's really strong, because to your point, once you get to that world where you're like, I get it now, everything that I've seen makes sense, everything that I've questioned my parents on, I am now doing the same thing. The things that I was like, well, why did you do it this way? Well, why did you do this? I don't understand that. You're now following in their steps, and it's absolutely bizarre. And I'll meet up with my dad for lunch or go golfing with him, and it's just, I chuckle with him. It's like, hey, remember when you used to do that weird thing? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I totally did that.
Yeah, and you make it up as you go, so you never know what's gonna hit and what isn't. It's just this ongoing improv. That's parenting. It's just, you keep going, I don't know, smile this way, play this song, do this, and maybe something's gonna hit and maybe it won't.
Well, and then then the things that hit, it only hits for so long.
Yeah.
Kids,
and you're gonna overdo it.
Kids are unfortunately smart,
Yeah, let's make sure we write that down as one of our favorite quotes. Kids are unfortunately smart.
I am well aware. I got not to pat my own kids on their back, but I got two very sneaky smart kids. One of them, I am blessed that my son, he is very forwardly smart. He shows hey, I'm good at this. I'm going to be vocal about this. He's a 100% snitch on his sister, because these are the rules. This is how we follow them. And this is how we do everything right. He's he's a 5-year-old that enjoys cleaning his room. So I'm not fighting.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
My daughter, on the other hand, she's the sneaky princess smart, where she's like, I'm pretty. And then you look at her eyes and it's like, what are you planning? Where is your
diabolical? Yeah. Yeah. But it's a good tip off, because at least you're like, oh, she's being extra sweet. Something is wrong.
Oh yeah. But with them, we can only do the same thing so many times.
Oh yeah.
Before I can't spell things anymore to my wife. I can't try and hide it. There's the go-tos that used to be hey, what about some the APPLESAUCE? Leah whips his head around. Oh, we're having applesauce. I'm like, God.
Yeah, I hear you there, because I know that, and I think embarrassment also goes out the window, because it doesn't matter if you're out in public or you're home. I mean, there's nothing that you won't try. Mm-hmm. If there's a tantrum, screaming fit, if there's this, and it's like you're trying to lay down the law. It's like there's no rule book for that. You have to just make that up as you go. Every step of the way. Yeah.
Oh, it's fun. Always fun. But I mean, that embarrassment factor, you scared me for a moment, because I am priding myself, and I'm so excited to be able to embarrass my children.
Oh yeah.
Because that hasn't happened yet. You know, they don't get embarrassed by me. And
wow.
Amy, you know me. I'm a pretty embarrassing person.
Are you sure they're are you sure they're seeing like
but yeah, no, so I'm very much
that.
looking forward to that, because that's a whole nother stage of life. And you know, I'm very excited. We're going to dive into that also in another episode. By the way, if you guys have made it this far in this episode, please do start to comment or message us about like what things you guys have been experiencing, what questions you may have for us, or what topics you really want us to discuss, because I'll be honest, we'll probably talk about anything, because like Amy said in the beginning, kids are a never-ending fountain of information, a never-ending fountain of topics, and it just it's always entertaining.
Absolutely. And we're here for you. You know, we're here to kind of help make that road a little bit easier. If not easier, at least a little more comical. You know, we'll try to at least find the humor in this, because
or at least we'll just laugh to ourselves.
Yeah, we have no problem just laughing to ourselves. Yeah, we can make anything humorous, especially after we've experienced it, after we've gone through the painful part.
Are you saying that like it's like when you're going through it, that's not, you don't just like laugh yourself to sleep? That's not what happened?
I think if I look back, there were a few tears that weren't from my kids. Sure, you know that happens. I'm sure that's normal. We're just figuring it out. Yeah.
And we want to continue figuring things out with you guys. Look, thank you again for listening. We're going to have a podcast out every single week. So please keep an eye out. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, what other things you're supposed to do on YouTube. I'll pretend like I'm extremely knowledgeable in that front.
Yeah, I think you got them all.
I mean, yeah, you know, there's an alert bell. I think that's a thing. But please check us out. Please keep listening. Please share to any friends, family that you guys think will enjoy this. And make sure you listen to us next time. We'll be covering picky eaters in I haven't tried it, but I know I don't like it.
Can't wait for that one.
All right. Talk to you guys next week.
Bye, guys. Thank you.